what's up guys? It's Saturday morning and I'm sorry I haven't been posting regularly because I've got a new job and it's gotten a bit busy lately. And on top of that, the past few weeks I've been suffering from either a cold or flu. I don't know, but I'm constantly getting fevers on and off and having blocked noses and this sort of thing. Anyway, as you can see, I am right beside Tampines Road right now, and I am gonna try and go that way all the way to Pulau Serangoon, or Coney Island as they put it. And I'm not exactly gonna be doing it on my new Versys X300. In fact, I'm doing it on this baby. Wish me luck. Water, the juice of heaven. Fuck. Okay. Now, I may not be riding my bike today, but today I'm going to be answering a question related to motorcycles. Now, I had a viewer ask me this question. Hi RP, I've been following your channel for quite some time. Can I ask if a 600 or 1000cc sport bike is practical to run as a daily commute bike? Now, I chose this particular question to make an entire video of because it's actually a very good question. Now, when it comes to the term practical, what is practical to you? As you know, I commute daily on my Kawasaki ZX6R. That is a 636cc replica sport bike. So to me, yeah, I'm fine with it. Other than the cost of gas, it is pretty practical, but you have to consider a couple of things before you look at whether they are practical or not. I mean, the short answer is no, they are not practical. The long answer is complicated. Now, I have a 636. It doesn't get very good mileage, 13 kilometers per liter, but I think it doesn't matter to me as a daily rider because my commute to and from work is only about 5 kilometers each way, so that's about 10 kilometers. And I don't even ride my bike when it rains. I take public transport. So in a month, I don't exactly travel a lot via commuting on my 636. So it doesn't matter to me. Then comes the question of ergonomics. Are you someone that is tall or are you someone that is short? Now, everybody can obviously ride a sport bike, but whether it's comfortable for you or not is another question, because as far as I'm concerned, my 636 is a rather big bike. It's quite uncomfortable for some of my friends that are shorter. I'm 177 centimeters tall, about 6'10". So for me, riding a 636 is quite comfortable, but if you are running about 165 centimeters to or less, it could be quite uncomfortable for most of you. Now the next question is maneuverability. Obviously, if you're commuting long distances at high speeds on open freeways, especially if you live in the US, a sport bike actually is pretty practical in that sense, because you are not going to be needing tight maneuvers so often compared to let's say living in a city like Singapore. And that's where a super sport bike like the 636 isn't very good. Low speed maneuvers is not the forte of a 600 or 1000cc super sport replica of that class. However, I wouldn't discount, even if those were issues that plague you, I wouldn't discount the use of sport bikes. Now, there is another class of sport bikes that isn't a race replica, isn't focused on speed, power, and that would be what I call the sport standard. They are things you would pretty much associate very closely to looking like a sport bike, but they are not exactly sport as in the sense of focused on performance alone. And these are bikes like a Ninja 650, the CBR 400 single R, and like. They have raised clip-ons as opposed to my 636, which has lower clip-ons. They have a lower seat height as opposed to the high seat height on the R6, for example. And they usually run on more efficient engines, like a parallel twin that pulls the RPMs a bit lower than you will get on an inline 4 screamer on the R6 or GSX 600R. So in the sense, these bikes are technically still sport bikes, but they are more practical, more economical, and they're easier to handle as well for most people. And that's why when somebody says you shouldn't get a 600cc super sport bike, but they say it's fine to get a 650 Ninja, that's why, because they are two, while they look exactly the same, almost the same, they are actually two totally different kinds of motorcycles. So answering your question, if you do insist on taking a 600 or 1000cc sport bike, do take note that it's only practical in a certain range of applications. That means no traffic, long distances, at least semi long distances at the very least, straight roads, or at the very least winding, sweeping curves rather than tight turns. And of course, getting very used to it, having the right body shape for that kind of motorcycle. So if that answers your question, you can go and check out several of the bikes that I have recommended. Ninja 650 for one, CBR 400R for one. If you want to go even smaller, there's stuff like the R15. That is what I would call a sport standard as well, not really a true racing sport bike. In the low side of things, the real sport bike in that class would be the R125. Take a look at those bikes. Don't just take for my word for it. I have to give you a couple of parameters as to what the bikes are good for, but at the end of the day, you have to decide for yourself what is practical and what is not for yourself, because everybody is different, our needs are different. And the reason why I can ride a 600cc super sport as my daily rider is because I am me, you are you have different needs. Now, if you would like to stick around, I'd probably be recording myself riding around and shooting around this place for a bit more. And if you're not, you can sign off, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, bye bye.